All right. So before we've been talking about the concept of the difference between the Ben Torah and the simple Yid. You have the simple Yid has a lot of milas that he does things with the pshitos, he does things with the simplicity, and whatever he does wrong, it's not his fault because he doesn't know any better. And yeah, he has a lot going for him. And then you have the Ben Torah, and the Ben Torah could very easily fall into the trap. It's very, in a sense, it's ironic, but it's very much true. Usually, I feel like villains in stories are usually not simple-minded people. You know what I'm saying? I feel like in general, when you have, it takes more intelligence to do more wrong. Besides for Hitler, he wasn't that smart. Like I'm saying, no, in general, I just think he happened to not be smart. It's honestly like mind-boggling when you actually get through it. Whatever, they were sure plans that we just don't understand. But in general, you need to have at least some measure of intelligence. Even he had some measure of intelligence. He'd have some measure of intelligence to be able to be blamed for what you're doing. Ben Torah has a lot of blame, a lot of responsibility. And not only that, but sometimes he's able to be pagan. He's able to cause a blemish in everything that he's accomplished by believing that everything that he's accomplished is his own, is because of his own good, his own efforts. And he doesn't appreciate that everything is really from Hashem, and that he just needs to appreciate the fact that Hashem enabled him to be in such a position where he's able to do what he's able to do, etc. And there's a lot to be elaborated on this. Whatever we can elaborate, whatever we should elaborate is elaborated on, and whatever not. So, but we're continuing about this concept. So, so the thing which causes this great descent for the Ben Torah, or someone that works in Avodah Shabbat, someone that davens very well, in the fact that he has haughtiness, or not just that he has straight up haughtiness, because straight up haughtiness is really bad, but even that he's very self-satisfied with what he does. So what causes all of this is, going back to the beginning of everything that we've been talking about from literally day one, is shtus, is folly. He called Inyan Ageos because the entire concept of pride, shtus nifla, it's a wondrous shtus, it's a wondrous folly. As it says, kol gei sheta, that anyone that has pride is foolish. Because for what is he being prideful? What reason is there ever to really have pride? If it's because of his great understanding, this isn't his. But then this is included in what the Mishnah says in Maseches Avos. Give Hashem from what is his, because you and what you have are his. And as we say in Shemona Esrei, that you give to man knowledge, understanding, however you want to translate das in the context. This is given from above. And if it's because of how much time he puts into his learning, it's possible that this is his nature, because he naturally is very introspective. And even if he got there because he talked did avodah, how did you have the power to do the avodah? Because the Eibusha gave you power to do the avodah. Because Hashem gives us power to achieve. And also in davening, when you have a great love and you have a great dveikos, this is because they've given it to him from above. So why should a person who's from the lowly mortals, why should he be prideful in something which isn't his own at all? It's interesting point that it says that just a thought that the Rambam writes in Hilchos Torah that a Navi comes to the Mila of Ishim. He comes to there's a certain kind of malachim called Ishim. And when a person is a Navi, they reach that Milo, whatever that means. That's Gabos Korah, Tzur Alachim, or whatever. It says when a person davens, he's able to come close but not quite to the level of Nevuah. So it's interesting. The Lashon, it says Lama Adam Shvala Ishim. He uses the Lashon of Shvala Ishim, which they translate here as a lowly mortal. But it's just an interesting Lashon. Maybe it's alluding to that.
What's the I mean, I don't know if we get into it, but what's that emotion you feel? You know, when there's a really hard halakhic concept, like smicha, as I've been like, there's so many hard concepts, and what's that feeling when you feel like you actually understand it? Then I thought it was that I'm proud of the fact that I'd put in the effort and I'd been able to understand that difficult concept.
Be appreciative. Appreciation is a good thing, that Hashem was kind to you, that He's able to, that He enabled you to understand that. And in general, something that you say when you realize that you had the same thought as someone that's greater than you, and like you were like my brother this morning. I'm very proud, so I'm gonna say it. We were learning the Gemara, and I just woken up, so I was like, all blurry. I remember learning, and he asked just like a klutz kasha on the Gemara, and I looked, and it's just a question that Tosfos asks. So I was very proud of it, because but you don't say that it's because he's putting in there. You say Baruch Shekivanti, Baruch Hashem, that He enabled me or him to be able to understand, to be able to come to the understanding of a great sage, one of Talmidei Chachamim. So
I like that.
So that's This is what the Chachamim told us in the Mad Torah. Harbe, if you've learned much Torah, al tachazik teva la'atzma. Do not consider it as a good thing for you. Even though over there they said that this is what you were created for, as in you're only doing what you need to do. You could say, I'm paying back the debt, whatever it is. You could say that that's maybe the main reason. Or it says no. This is a second reason. Because the first reason doesn't fit so much. So you have technically a problem with the first answer, which is what we said, which is that yes, even though it's for the purposes of the Mishnah, that the Mishnah is trying to prove the point that you shouldn't be machzik teva for yourself. You could technically be machzik teva for yourself in the fact that you've chosen right, which isn't the most impressive thing. It's not like the inyan that I learned a lot and whatever. It's not the inyan. There's no mila over anyone else choosing right. The Mishnah needs to say that because of that, because you could technically be machzik teva for yourself, because of the fact that you chose right, even though with the first reason, it's not really such a chiddush that you've chosen right. It's either you've chosen right in learning Torah, or it's a simple person choosing right in, saying Tehillim or whatever it is. But you have the extra reason, which is every person is supposed to choose right. This is what we were created for. So, aside the inyan of all of the strength that you have is really from the Eibusher, and even the bechira that you have, this is what your purpose is. So this is why it says this is what you were formed for, because this is the beginning of the formation of man is for this. So and as it says that at the beginning Hashem created Amru, Rabbi Sinu, it said, and the Chachamim say that Bereshis you could technically read as Beis Bereshis. There's two things that are the beginning that Hashem created the world for. So B'shvil HaTorah shenikras Reishis, it's for the Torah, which is called Reishis. B'shvil Yisrael shenikras Reishis, and it's for the Yidden, which are called Reishis. And the quotes from Sukkim that show this. V'hain Reishis Allah L'idei HaTorah Asher Hi Chachmosei U'Rotzenei Yisparech. And this is to say that we go up through Torah, which is Hashem's Chachma and Ratzon. Because the Isu Zayar, and it says in Torah, in Zayar, Klas, Kishin, Miskashin, and Davada, there are three knots which are tied one to another. Yisrael, Miskashoin, V'Reisa, Richu, Yidden are tied to the Torah, and the Torah is tied to Hashem. Shalidei, and Torah, Torah, Miskashin, Nishmas Yisrael, that through the middle of Torah, the mediation sounds like you're trying to make a compromise, but through the middleman of Torah, the Torah serves as the intermediary of Torah. The souls of Yidden, the souls of Yidden are able to be connected to godliness. Maimer, Rabbi Sinu Zachar in the Racha, and as Chachamim say in Zayar, al pasuk asara akaf, as it says that 10 with a spoon. I think it's we're starting Nasi today. I believe it's at the end of Parshas Nesim. Let me check. No, maybe now. Let's see. Asara Kaf.
Each spoon was 10?
Yeah, it's at the end of the parashas of Nisim. It's counting up all of the things that the Nisim donated to the Beis Hamikdash. So at the end of the count it says 10, like each spoon was 10. So Shinasaris a Dibres Mekuvanim Neged Esar Mamaris. So the Chachamim say on that pasuk that the 10 Dibres are Choven. They're aligned for they're intended for each of the 10 utterances with which Hashem created the world. So Rabbi Sinu Zechon L'Bracha and the Chachamim tell us that Hashem made a condition with Ma'aseh Bereishis. If Yidden will fulfill my Torah, it's good. And if not, then I will return the world to chaos and void. And the Chachamim tell us al pasuk Eila told us Shemayim va'aretz v'hibaram, that on the pasuk that says that these are the descendants, or these are what happened after the heavens and the earth when they were created. Eila was supposed to be nivru, was supposed to be aimdin. It says Eila. It says these are the tildes of the heavens and the earth. So Eila, in the merit of whom were they created, in the merit of whom do they stand? They're supposed to Eila Shmois B'nai Yisrael, standing in the merit of the Eila that it says. The Eila that it says in the pasuk is alluding to the Eila when it says Eila Shmois B'nai Yisrael. These are the names of the Yidden. That it's just drawing like a parallel. The Eila was supposed to be named, and in the discourse of what are they standing? It's supposed to Eila Eidus V'Chukim Mashpatim. In the merit of these are the Eidus Chukim Mashpatim, the testimonials, the laws, and the statutes, however you want to translate them. But these are it's standing in the merit of Sai the Yidden and Sai the Torah. So all of this was brought to justify, in a sense, this is why they say that you were created for this. Because the main creation of a man is for the Torah. When Shekhasav, as it says, Seif Davar Kol Nishma, Eto Elikim Yerav, as the Shemok Adam, that at the end of the matter is when everything has been heard, fear God and guard His mitzvahs, guard His commandments, because this is all man. The Imkain, and if this is so, when he does the thing for which he was created, there's no favor, there's no self-satisfaction he can have from him. And so too with the service, Shabali de Avil Dveikos, that he comes to love and Dveikos. There's no goodness there's no goodness he could ascribe to himself. After the fact that this is the ultimate purpose of his creation in this world. That this is his purpose, that he should rise through Torah and Avodah, as we just mentioned, as the Rabbi Rashab proved somewhat thoroughly. And as we've explained in the first Weimar, we're going all the way back to the throwback, as we explained in the first Weimar, the Inyan Tachlis called Bria, about the purpose of all creation. And even more so, from the fact that he considers it to be a good thing for himself, he ascribes a goodness to himself because of it. You see that with his avodah, he wasn't able to come to a level of bittul. He wasn't able to come to a level of nullification. So that shows that he actually didn't reach the ultimate purpose that he's supposed to be getting to with avodah. So tzarich this maimer benafshel, that he needs to be bitter because of this. I mean, after the fact that he did not come to the ultimate purpose of his creation, in Kain Rishmal Ma Niver Ba'ilim Mama Aseu. If he's not batul, he needs to be bitter. He needs to think, what was I created for? What am I doing? And this is particularly true if he is not careful about certain things. I feel even light things. That according to his standing, that they're actually important things. Canal, as we mentioned before that Hashem is medactic with the higher a person is in his level, the more Hashem is medactic with him. So even if something isn't so important for a lower person, for himself, he's on a higher level, he needs to be more careful about it. And even more so, if they involve Chilul Hashem, it would be better if he weren't created. This is a common thing that the Chachamim say in the Gemara, by the way. This condition, better if he weren't created. It's important to have an appreciation. I mean, obviously we could do tshuva, we could rise above it. But there's something that a person can do that mamish. If you look at it, not the fact that Hashem loves you and that Hashem really ultimately has a plan for everyone, but at that moment, yeah, it's a horrible thing.
But how can we comment on that? How can we comment on what Hashem's created someone for? What they're doing, whether it could be in a Avera, for example, but either way, the Eibishter wants them to do that. It might be because they can do tshuva after, or whatever it is. There's a reason for it.
I'm not getting the question.
If the Chachamim are saying, why is this person created? How are we to comment on that?
No, they're not saying why is this person created. They're saying it would have been better at this particular moment when this particular thing is being done. It would have been better if you weren't created.
But what if it was a learning moment for them? What if Hashem put them in a challenging position? It was a learning moment.
It's not to say that. Okay, so two things. Firstly, it's not to say that there's no ultimate purpose. It's to say that if it comes down to only this, it's not worth it.
So it's just isolating.
That's not the real explanation. That's just the justification. The real explanation is it would be better for him if he weren't created, because this is so pain. This is so horrible for him, and he's going to come to the understanding of the bitterness, etc., etc. For him, it's better for one. We say in Yom Kippur davening, and after the whole Avodah, the whole Seder Avodah, I should say. After the whole Seder of Avodah and Musaf, we say that they agree in the Yeshiva Shel Maila and they agree in the Yeshiva Shel Mata. It would be better if we weren't created.
And it's talking about Klal Yisrael?
So everyone, it would be Pasha would be better. It's a Gemara Mefreshes and Erev and Daf Gimel on the Beis, if I'm not mistaken. It would be better. It's Pasha. It's hard to exist. Existing is hard. And you come down to the world and you do the Avodah, and you know what? Every person in their own level, in their own individualistic way, if they're learning Torah and they're doing Avodah, it's very, 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 very hard to not have some kind of pride, some kind of machzak teva, atzmai, etc., etc. And really, truthfully, it's a hard existence, and there's no level to which a person can arrive that he's takas stationary, and as it says at the end of Maseches Brachos, that Talmidei Chachamim don't have rest, not in this world and not in the world to come. You always need to move past the level that you're on, and it's not an easy life. It's not like that story with the person that the Rebbe sent him on a mission to Russia or something like that behind the Iron Curtain, and when he came back, the Rebbe asked him all of the details. Did everything go well? And he, after the interrogation, the guy said, just so that the Rebbe should know, it wasn't easy. So the Rebbe answered him back in Yiddish, and he said, at what point did you sign a contract with God that life would be easy? So, Taka, it's rough. So, but anyhow, I digress. And if you wouldn't be working in Torah and Avodah, it would be better if there weren't a Chilul Hashem. Chilul Hashem is a concept which is relative to how chashuv of a person you are. Because when a person learns Torah, he is more of a chashuv person. This is how it works. Like, I don't know if you remember, but like in one of the early Maimar, maybe like Maimar Yidal or something like that, the Rebbe Shaf snuck in, or maybe it was Maimar Tesval, the Rebbe Shaf snuck in like a person that's not a Ben Torah, like Chas v'Shalom, like a Rahman al-Islam or something like that. It's taka a lower level to not be on that. We don't wish on anyone that they shouldn't be a Ben Torah, even though you taka go so low with being a Ben Torah. You still don't wish it on anyone that they shouldn't be able to learn, that they shouldn't be able to daven. It says Yosef Das, Yosef Machayev. The more understanding you have, the more pain you have. But that doesn't mean doesn't mean you want to be a rock. We're still appreciative that we're humans. But the more that a person has, the more terror that a person has, the more Chilul Hashem that they're able to cause. Especially nowadays in a lot of respects, we've kind of reached an equilibrium that we either consider ourselves to be all Talmidei Chachamim or we consider ourselves to be non-Talmidei Chachamim. In regards to a lot of halachas, because a lot of things says in the Gemara that this is only for Talmid Chacham, or that's not for Talmid Chacham, etc. Some things we've decided that they're all for Talmidei Chachamim, something that, as in we're all Talmidei Chachamim nowadays, and together that we are all religious Jews, whatever it is, really depends on the context. But yeah, a religious Jew nowadays, a person that goes around with a beard and yarmulke and tzitzis, and payas, etc., etc. A person going around, if he does something negative in the street or something like that, I don't know, if he litters, I don't know, you don't have guns over here, so what's the worst thing you could do over here already? The worst thing that a person could do whatever it is that a person does, if you see that he's a from a yid or whatever, people on the street don't recognize, they don't know, they don't see, oh, this person is a Talmid Chacham, this person is an Amira, this person is a Rosh Yeshiva. They look at him and they think religious Jew. So in a lot of respects, we're all like Talmidei Chachamim in that sense. But anyhow, I digress. We do mamish need to get to the end. So all of this is because of his avodah, which isn't true. If it were true, it would cause him to have bittul in his soul. So that he wouldn't consider it to be something good for himself at all. And even more so that he would be careful with all of the details of his avodah, to the ultimate, so that he wouldn't come to a place of Chilul Hashem. And this is when the Ruach Shtos, when the spirit of folly convinces him that he needs to have pride in his learning, or that he should consider it to be something good for himself. I would ask any questions.
No, I know.
Kitzur Hageos, Shtos, pride is folly. So the understanding of learning Torah and serving Hashem is from Hashem. And this is what he was created for. And this, that he considers it to be something good for himself, it's recognized and recognizable that he has not reached his ultimate purpose. And someone that's prideful causes a Chilul Hashem.
Go ahead.
All right.
I really like that story of the Rebbe.